Hi, my name is Christopher Kelby. In this video, I'm going to show how we can use custom event with Webhook Event Handlers in Sitecore 10.3 and XM Cloud. This is the second video I'm making on the topic. In the first video, I showed how we can use the built-in events to integrate with an external system. Today, I'm going to expand on that implementation and explain how custom events will allow us to customize the JSON payload that the external system receives from Sitecore. You will be able to find the code that I'm introducing into my Sitecore solution on my blog. The URL are here. Just a brief recap. In my last video, I set up a Webhook Event Handler that called an external API each time the item saved event was triggered. Using that approach, I was able to integrate with the external system IFTTT to send an email each time a Sitecore item was saved. As we saw, I was able to include the item name into the email, but if I wanted to include more information about the saved item, I would be limited by the content of the JSON payload that the external system received from Sitecore. In this video, I'm going to change the payload and include some other information. In this video, I'm going to use the full path as an example, but of course, this could be any information about the saved item. I'm going to start out by creating a custom event type. The event types used for webhooks are located under System, Settings, Webhooks, Event Types. I'm creating a folder here called Custom. And underneath that, I'm creating a folder called Item, simply to mimic the structure that Sitecore is already using. Now I'm going to create my own event. I'm calling this Custom Item Saved. And name the event Custom Item Saved. Finally, I'm going to change my Webhook event handler so that instead of being triggered on the built-in event, it is now triggered by my custom event type. Like that, and saving. I'm now going to link up my custom event with the matching Sitecore event. So as you saw, I called my event Custom Item Saved. I now want that event to be triggered each time the matching Sitecore event Item Saved is triggered. I'm going to do this in an initialized pipeline processor. My pipeline processor works like this. I'm looping through all my custom events, and then I'm going to find the matching Sitecore event by removing the prefix. I'm then going to subscribe to the matching Sitecore event with this event handler. The event handler does nothing more than to trigger my custom event. This ensures that, for example, when Sitecore triggers the item saved event, my custom event, custom item saved, is also triggered. Finally, I'm going to patch this into the Sitecore configuration like this. I'm now going to add a payload to my custom event. I'm going to call my payload properties, and it will simply be a dictionary consisting of objects. I'm going to create it here, properties. And add it as a parameter when I raise my custom event, like this. When a Sitecore event is triggered, as part of the Sitecore event args, we get a list of parameters. These parameters contain information that we would like to be able to put into our payload. In the example of the item saved, we actually get the entire item. So I'm going to introduce the concept of a mapper. I have an interface here for it. You can see like this. The mapper can move information from an object into our properties. I also have an abstract implementation of a parameter mapper So I will be able to reuse that for different kind of objects. I have it here, like this. Finally, I'm going to add a mapper that can move properties from an item into my property dictionary. As you can see, my item mapper extracts the name, the ID, the full path, and the author of an item and add it into the properties dictionary under item. I'm going to add my mapper to a static list of mappers. This will allow me to add other mappers to support other types of parameters. I'm going to add it here and just fixing the formatting like this as well. So now I can loop through all the parameters I received from Sitecore to see if I have a matching mapper. This will allow me to move the properties I need into my payload, like that. If I go back to Sitecore and make a change on an item, like this, and save it, my custom event will be triggered, and IFTTT will be called, but now with my custom payload. You can see the custom payload here. And if we inspect the custom payload, like this, you can see that I now get the name, the ID, the path, and the author of the saved item. I'm now going to add a filter to my applet, like this. In the filter, I'm going to extract the item path and add it to the email, like that. Adding the filter and updating my applet, like that. If I go back to Sitecore and change the item again, like that, and save it, I can see that I'm now sending out an email, and the email contains the item path, like that, and here's the item path. With this approach, I'm able to create my own payload for the Webhooks events in Sitecore. The code I'm using in this video you can find on my blog. The URL is here. Thank you very much.